In case you missed it, your host Kayla Blakesley is at it again. What did she say this time? Tune in to find out right now.
The cleanup is underway following the deadly storms that ripped through parts of Indiana last week. And unfortunately, while so many Hoosiers are trying to pick up the pieces, scammers are already looking for an opportunity. So we are talking everything from questionable contractors, showing up at your front door to people asking for money, personal information, or just a payment up front. And in order to have the conversation, we've called up our Indiana Attorney General, Todd Rokita, and he's joining us live right now. Good morning, Attorney General.
Hey, Kayla. Great to be with you. I wish it was a different subject.
Yeah, man, you and me both. So that's kind of where I want to start. What are you already seeing in terms of these scams following all the storms?
Well, so far, it's not been bad. I hope we just jinxed ourselves. As far as what we're seeing in the office in terms of actual complaints. However, we've had some serious allegations up in Griffith, Indiana, about people, aggressive salesmen, so to speak, saying, oh, don't worry, FEMA's going to pay for all this, and doing some high-pressure sales that way. But we don't know honestly, from a legal standpoint, what FEMA's going to pay for yet or not. In fact, the declaration that's been made so far is really for the state and local governments. It's not for any reimbursement of individual property owners yet. If there's a major declaration approved, that changes the story. But so none of that's really true. So that's one example of some problems we're having. But other than that, we have some decent laws in Indiana regarding contractors. Like, the contract must be in writing. You can cancel it within 3 days. It should have start and completion dates in it. So that offers some protections that, if violated, I could be helpful to a certain extent with folks. But my goal is to be on your radio station and other outlets, and I'm traveling all over the state to make sure there's no problems in the first place. Make sure we have the best informed consumers as possible.
Yeah, and I'm glad you're here to get the word out. Let's say somebody right now is listening and they've got a tree on their roof, water damage, I don't know, their home is just a mess right now, and a contractor suddenly shows up at the front door offering to fix all of it. What would maybe be some immediate red flags that homeowners should be on the lookout for?
Well, I mean, just because they knocked on their door, there's no crime in that. There's nothing against the law in that. And really, let's be in the real world here. Contractors are going to be at a premium during this, and they know that. So it's okay. Have the conversation. Here's what you do: get anything in writing. Make sure in that writing there is start and completion dates. Try to give as little of a down payment as possible. Right? The bigger they are, the more reputable they are. Maybe you're paying more, but they should have ability to fund their own people and fund the materials. It's not illegal to ask for them to require a down payment if you want their services, but all that is negotiable, and it shouldn't be a lot. Use a credit card whenever possible, so you have that extra protection from the credit card company, and try not to give the down payment until they're actually on site, ready to start the work. That's the biggest problem we're having. Is that, guys are getting down payment checks and never coming back. That's the big overall, no matter whether it's this disaster or other issues that we have that I see come into our office, is they just walk off with a down payment check. So don't let that happen.
After a disaster, people always want to help, and they have generous hearts, and I love that.
Yes.
But on that note, are you concerned at all about fake charities or bogus fundraising efforts popping up around these storms?
Yes, I am, and thanks for reminding me about that. That's the second shoe in all this. Hoosiers have the biggest hearts, and we help. We know how to help, and we do. Part of that knowing how to help is knowing who to give to. Mm-hmm. Make sure they're established. Make sure you're on their official website, or if it's, let's just, for an example, there are several charities, but for example, Red Cross, right? Try to do it in person, just to make sure you're dealing with the right, the official Red Cross. Try to avoid crowdfunding. Unless you know that neighbor specifically or that person specifically, try to avoid the crowdfunding. I don't trust it. I don't like it. I'm not saying it's all bad. I'm not saying I've actually seen anything around this disaster. I haven't really looked. But anytime you're giving money online to strangers, basically, on some promise that they're going to take care of people, and you don't know it, you don't know them, or they're not a well-established charity, and you're not sure they're on your official site, the likelihood of that money going where you intended goes down drastically.
If someone listening right now thinks, oh boy, I have already fallen for one of those or fallen for one of these, what should they do? Who do they contact, and what information should they have ready?
Well, I'm not saying I could help you necessarily get your money back in that situation. We will apply pressure, but we need to know. So if you could file a report with us, go to our website. We have a number there. You can do a form, give us as much detail as possible. We can help best when we can detect patterns of certain activity, certain kinds of behavior, certain geography. That helps us pinpoint, and then we can do something, usually when it's a group of people that have been hit or hurt. That's where we can act best, to be quite honest with you. But I can't do any of that until I have the information. So Don't think it's a wasted call. We will try to get your individual money back. We have been successful in the past with that. And a lot of times it's embarrassing. People don't, oh, my gosh, I can't believe I got duped like that. I'm not telling anybody. I understand that. That's a natural reaction. But do try to let us know at the very least. Let us try to get your money back. But let's add you into the mix to see what patterns develop so we can stop this happening in the future.
Attorney General, I have you. You got to love live radio. I got a text in here on our text back line with a fair question.
Do this. I love it.
Well, I know that you can take it. Let's put it that way. I know you can handle it. Yeah. But someone basically wants me to ask you, whatever happened to the enforcement of the do not call list? It doesn't feel like it's working any longer. Attorney General, care to respond to that one?
Oh, sure. Well, heck, I feel the pain. I'm a victim of it too. Believe it or not, we are probably leading the country in the number of fines that we issued against wrongdoers. We have a lot of good experience in the office. We lead a 50-state task force in this area. Wow. This is happening all over the country, probably all over the world. And so we have the state do not call list. Make sure you're on it. That's helpful. There's a federal do not call list that's a little bit weaker than ours. Make sure you're on that. I have recently, with a bunch of other attorneys general, called on, because this is happening so much across state lines, we really need a federal help here. So we recently wrote a letter to Congress saying, get your act together, strengthen this stuff, and help. And they need to do that because I can issue all the fines in the world, but if they're in India, it's hard to attach them. So in response to that, what I have done is start going on the aiders, what I call the aiders and abettors. And I know you asked this question, so now you're going to get the answer. It might be a little long. The aiders and abettors are the U.S. companies that are helping in the transmission of these calls. So we've started fining them hundreds of thousands of dollars and said, you're either going to help us get these guys or stop these guys from making calls, or we're going to start fining you. And that's had some success. So believe it or not, I know it's tough, but we are leading the nation in this effort. And here's the last point. The law and me and any attorney general is only going to be able to go so far. The technology has surpassed the law. And so you have to combat this on a technological level. And so your cell phone carrier, especially your landline carriers, have technology now that they can employ, that they can give you, that you can turn on or off to block these calls, to make them leave voicemails before you pick up, to identify the calls. There's some very good technology out there that really has reduced the calls that I get.
Well, so, I'm glad to hear, you're on top of it, obviously, and I get it. That enforcement piece would be a little bit tricky, but I appreciate you leading the charge on this one. You're going to have to let us know if Congress responds to your letter about getting in on this.
Well, it's Congress. They can't barely tie their shoes. No offense, but that's
we could be waiting a while
because I want to do things. I will keep you updated. Let's have another radio conversation on this, please.
I love it. Let's do it. Attorney General Todd Rokita, as always, we appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Hey, it's KB. As a show of appreciation for listening, use my promo code WOWO for deep discounts on all kinds of products at mypillow.com. That's promo code WOWO.
Podcasts by Federated Media.